Welcome if this your first time on the channel. Today we listening to the audio of Tom Brady really break down why Shedeur Sanders is in the perfect situation. Everybody's rushing for Shedeur Sanders to play. Everybody's being mad that Dylan Gabriel is still starting and he's not getting the reps. And in my mind, now currently, it's the same way I felt at the beginning of the season. I'm happy Shedeur is not playing in Cleveland Browns offense quite yet. I think he needs some time to learn that system, and him going last is the best situation because Kenny Pickett is out of there. Joe Flacco couldn't survive. Dylan Gabriel trying it now. I don't think he gonna survive. Having more time to prepare yourself is the best thing in this situation. And we're going to listen to Tom Brady say exactly that. Make sure you subscribe if this is your first time here. Click that like button. That's how they push the video. Let's go.
There used to be college programs. Now there are college teams. You're no longer learning a program, you're learning a playbook. And the program is ultimately, like at Michigan, for me, that was a pro-style program. 5 years, I got to learn how to drop back pass, to read defenses, to read coverages, to be coached. I had to learn from being seventh quarterback on the depth chart to moving up to third to ultimately being a starter. I had to learn all those things in college. That was development. Then I went to New England and I was developed by Coach Belichick and the offensive staff there. I didn't start my first year. I think it's just a tragedy that we're forcing these rookies to play early. But the reality is the only reason why they are is because we dumbed the game down, which has allowed them to play. It used to be thought of at a higher level. We used to spend hours and hours in the offseason and training camp trying to be a little bit better than next year. But I think what happens is it discourages the coaches from going to deep levels because they realize the players don't have the opportunity to go to a deep level. So they're just going to teach them where they're at.
Nobody's getting the proper training. And he's saying, yo, I waited in college for my time. And then he said, I waited in the pros. But that ain't it. He also speak about how he spoke to Patrick Mahomes in his situation. Remember, Patrick Mahomes waited also. So he is a person that believes quarterbacks should wait. So Shedeur Sanders doing that is a good thing. But listen to him break this down. I love that Tom Brady spoke on this.
I had a chance to talk to Andy Reid about that, had a chance to talk to Patrick Mahomes about that this week. They said, look, Patrick flat out said, I can't thank Alex Smith enough for everything that he did for me. All I did was ask him questions in the meeting room my first year. And I look at my first year. That's all I did with Drew Bledsoe. Aaron Rodgers had 3 years to sit behind Brett Favre.
Good point.
Eli Manning sat behind Kurt Warner.
Good point.
There's a lot of guys, and I would say a lot of successful players that weren't kind of thrown into the fire because what happens is you can lose your confidence so fast because when the real games are happening, the blitzes are coming, and you don't understand protection, and you don't understand coverage, and you start taking hits, and you start throwing interceptions, you begin to lose confidence that, hey, I don't even know how to play football. I don't know how to go down and lead our team to score points. I can't even make and complete a pass. So if you're sitting in the meeting room and learning, I actually think that's the best way to learn because you can understand it on the board. You can understand it on the video screen. You can go out to a walkthrough. And then you can learn and practice by making a lot of, good decisions, bad decisions, without necessarily being critiqued from the outside world and losing. Look, you got PFF grading you every week, like you were just referencing there before I came on. They're grading you. And now you go as a first-year quarterback, you barely know shit, and now everyone's telling you suck. And it takes a while to regain your confidence. You lose your whole fan base, and it's really unfortunate. But that's very much the state of the league. And I think we've dumbed down the game in so many ways to allow for a lesser caliber developed player to get in there and lead an organization.
And that's what's going on all across the league. Cam Ward is struggling like crazy right now. And it's just he don't know what he's seeing yet. It takes time for most people. And everybody takes a different journey. That's what this is really about. Because Peyton Manning took a different journey than Tom Brady. But Tom Brady is saying, yo, a lot of these guys don't need to just be starting right away. They need time to recognize the defense, what the offensive lineman is going to do, what the safeties, cornerback, to recognize these things. This stuff is moving real fast, and time is the best thing that a young quarterback can have. This is what Brady is talking about. I completely agree with him, but this is the situation that Shedeur Sanders is in. So everybody's putting constant pressure. Shedeur need to get in. Shedeur, I don't think people should be doing that. Let him sit on the bench. Let him learn. I like when Joe Flacco was there. I wish Joe Flacco was still there, because then he'll be on the bench learning from a guy that actually knows what he's seeing. Joe Flacco's just older, so he can't do it at the same level. But he can learn from Joe Flacco, but they traded him off. And guess what? Joe Flacco doing real good with the Cincinnati Bengals. He's looking real good. All right, they played Pittsburgh, and Joe Flacco was out there looking real good. You could tell Cincinnati Bengals is better than people think. It's just they defense been on the field the whole game, so they gonna be bad. And then they offense couldn't move the ball once Barrow went down. So, Joe Flacco would have been a great person to learn behind, but he's doing his thing in Cincinnati. But with Shedeur, waiting is the best. I'm telling you now. The Cleveland Browns played a horrible team last week. I think they played Miami. They won. Miami is horrible. They like the worst franchise in the NFL right now. But when Dylan Gabriel plays tougher competition that's actually good at football and the organization is good, he's gonna struggle in Cleveland. And to be honest, most quarterbacks struggle in Cleveland. Joe Flacco was struggling in Cleveland. So it's going to take an extraordinary player to really turn that around. That could be Shedeur, but give him time. And that's what Tom Brady is saying, man. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this and Shedeur waiting. What Tom Brady is saying about how quarterbacks need to wait. Put it down in the comments. As always, if this is your first time here, make sure you sub to the channel. Check out the other content. Click that like button. And as always, y'all be easy, be safe. Peace.